Hello, hello, hi. Thank you for checking in. Great to see everybody. Hello, it's Monday, Motivational Monday. So thank you for checking in. I hope you're feeling motivated, ready to attack the week. Let me say hello to everybody. Oops. Why is it every time the YouTube just does that? All right, let me start the YouTube again. Hello. It does that all the time. All right. All right. Hello. I hope everybody had a really good weekend. All right. I am live on Google Hangouts and YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, there is like a minute lag. Hello, Philip Lee. Thank you for checking in. And everybody watching on YouTube, hello. Thank you for checking in. Great to see you. Hello. I had a very nice Saturday night. I made my delicious vegetarian feast, and without any, we ended up not doing any meat, just vegetarian feast, and it turned out great. Let me say hello to everybody, Lura Star and Shocker and Sturgis Guy and Tesis and House of Dave and Sam and St. Clinton and Eric and Petey and Tim and Ryan and Photo and Philip and Mark Mean and Star Raven and Andrew Jonas and Lucky Girl and Fairies Lover and Scott Kimmis and Bill Nouse and House of Dave and Philip Lee and Toad and Azure Yusuf and the Cram and Marcel and Sam and St. Clinton and Jim Dandy and Sturgis Guy and Red Stapler and Joe Barney and N1 Gov and St. Clinton. Thank you for checking in. Great to see everybody. Hello. Hello. Let me make sure I didn't miss anyone. How was everybody's weekend? Did you have a good time? I posted some pictures for you all. I'm trying to take a picture each weekend. I watched Walking Dead and Doctor Who. I saw a movie, a small like English road movie kind of about two actors who get hired to go like on a tour, a foodie tour around England, like writing reviews about restaurants, and they're like comedian actors, Billy Connolly and somebody else, and it was called The Trip. And it was almost like a reality show, except they actually were filming. But they made it seem like it was really live, like you seemed like you were watching the guys. They had like cameras kind of watching them, but it seemed like the whole thing was just improv. And but the best part of the movie was it was like a movie about food, and ever since then I am now obsessed. It was like all these shots of the kitchen people making all these amazing dishes, like around like 5-star restaurants, like all touring through England. And now I am just obsessed with food, even more so. Thank you, and thank you, Sam and Philip. I'm glad you like. Wait, I just froze. Why did I just freeze? What? I just froze on my end. I am a foodie. Oh my goodness, Angie Jonas. I am such a foodie. And I like good food. I like real, honest food. So that's my obsession. And I made really my dinner Saturday night turned out really good. Very pleased with that. And now, David Jones. Linda says, The Chair is a documentary about a YouTube star guy making a comedy movie, and there's another lady direct your film, another version of it. Oh, I haven't heard about that. No, Wing Doggy, it is not cold in California. Hi, John McCain! Red Stapler, thank you for checking in. Great to see you. It is warm and awesome in California. I did like 5 hours of yard work yesterday. I'm actually sore and exhausted from doing so much yard work. It was so nice out, and all of my plants just grow like crazy. Like every other week, I have to trim everything back like a foot. Like literally, things are growing like there's vines that grow like 3 feet in a day. I'm like poison ivy. I'm growing things, and it's like the enchanted forest. It's like the enchant. So I trimmed everything down because some of my bushes were like growing out into the road in the alley. I trimmed back like 1.5 feet on each side because it was like this little plant is now like 5 feet wide. Linda says she's the mystery on this. Oh, does anyone have sound? Oh, if anyone has any sound on in their sound on, does somebody have sound on? If you have sound on, mute it. Allura says the right side of her head feels like she has a sunburn, and she wasn't outside, and her right ear is very tender. That sounds like you might be getting an ear infection, Allura. If it's your ears tender and it's one side, that sounds like inner ear problems. I think you have to go for the doctor to get drops for something like that. I don't know about. Yes, get that taken care of. You don't want to ignore your health. I just read a thing, one of the grossest things I've ever read, so of course I must share it with you. Speaking of medical grossness, Allura reminded me of health news. A young English girl had been traveling, backpacking, hiking through Vietnam on a vacation, and she the last 2 weeks she was there, she started having nosebleeds, and she thought it was something related to like a bicycle fall she'd had. She thought maybe she burst a blood vessel or something. So for 2 weeks she keeps getting these weird nosebleeds, and then she goes back to England, and every time she showers, she thinks like there's like a blood clot or something that's coming down out of her nose, like almost down to her lip. And she's like shut back like for a week before she realizes, hey, that's no blood clot. She had a leech, a 3-inch long gigantic red leech in her nose, curled up in a giant ball, and it would get warm and humid in the shower, and the leech would start coming out, and she'd be like, what's that? And it would go back inside, and she thought it was a blood clot. Okay, first of all, the girl is a dumbass. And if she hadn't gotten it out, the leech would have kept growing and burrowing and growing until it got to her brain and ate her brain. Hi, Michael Phelps. Thank you for checking in. Nice to meet you, or welcome back. Yes, that was gross. And then there's another. Speaking of gross medical things, while I'm on the topic, there's a YouTube video, a doctor's YouTube video, somebody who's gone to like the ear doctor, feels something tickling inside of his ear, and the doctor's got the camera and the scope, pulls. You see something wiggling in there, pulls out a giant bug, like a giant, like huge, like 3-inch long, like grasshopper kind of praying mantis just in the gut. Oh, the thought of weird things growing and going into the orifices of your body, that just freaks me out. Leeches, bugs crawling in your ears, going in your nose, your mouth, your eyes, or in some cases, men going up the urethra. You've heard of that? Yeah, in fact, if you're in a part of the world swimming in fresh water, in certain parts of the world, you might want to wear a rubber to go swimming, just to prevent any weird things in the water from getting into you. There are parts of the world where you should wear a rubber to go swimming to protect yourself. Michael Phelps said, thoughts on zombie boobs? I have no idea. What are you talking about? Zombie boobs? Big zombie boobs. What are you talking about? Oh! Oh, my movie. I thought you were like... Oh, yes. Corpses. The movie Corpses. In Rolf Kaneski directed. I was Babs the zombie hooker. Because even after you die, you still keep doing the same job. Babs the zombie hooker. And I a rare talking zombie. I'm a rare talking zombie. And yes, I do put my I believe I put my hand through a guy. Yes, I was a rare talking zombie. Of course, my most of my talking was very zombie-esque delivery. I guess I killed the guy with the pipe. Yeah. What did I say? I'm not quite sure I remember. I do remember I talked. I think in that movie I had a scene where, as Babs the zombie hooker, my job is to seduce Jeff Fahey, the town sheriff. However, it's highly unlikely that zombie hooker actually has the skills necessary to seduce anyone. She I used it for and I haven't. Yeah, I killed the guy with the pipe, and then I tried to attack Jeff Fahey, and I say something about must fuck you or something zombie sexual, which was more scary than sexual. And then of course we have a fight scene, and I get killed. And Michael Phelps, do you have a different name, Michael Phelps? I know I've told this story before, but that fight scene has got to be one of the funniest. Are you new here? Hi, nice to meet you, Michael Phelps. Michael, if you're not on Twitter, please follow me on Twitter. I will tell you. I will tell you the story. That fight scene between Jeff Fahey and I. It was the most Ed Wood moment of my entire career. And I'd have to say my career's been very Ed Wood-esque as it is, but that one takes the cake, because that fight scene with me and Jeff Fahey was just me. Jeff Fahey wasn't there! It was me throwing myself back and forth against the wall, lunging. We had been shooting the scene, and we were in this location. They had rented this location, some like little tiny like hotel in the valley, and they thought that you have to have a permit for shooting, and they thought the shooting permit went until 2 a.m. and that's how long the crew and everyone was scheduled to be working. And apparently the union guy had it scheduled for 12 midnight. So suddenly at 12 midnight they said, you must stop now. You must stop shooting. I'm shutting down this shoot. You cannot do any more shooting. You must leave now immediately, or you will be fined a ton of money. And they're like, wait a minute, no, it's till 2. And he's like, no, I got 12 here. And they're like, no, it's 2. So anyhow, it was Jeff Fahey's last day of shooting. We were supposed to finish this fight scene. It was the last thing of the night. We were finishing up this zombie seduction fight death scene. Anyhow, so we start with we'd just gotten up to this seduction, and all of a sudden they shut us down. So Jeff Fahey's gone. He's gone. Bye-bye. He's done with the movie. It was his last day of shooting. They still have the whole fight scene and the death scene. Thank you, Michael. That hasn't been shot yet. And the director is shooting nights. The whole movie is taking place at night, so he's working all night long shooting nights this whole week. The whole movie was shot in like a week. And so the producer, who is kind of the one who's messed up this time thing, or at least the director thinks it's his fault, he wants to try and fix the problem. He wants to try and fix the problem without letting the director know. So the producer schedules. Michael says he was there with me. Yes, it was. Were you? It was historical, actually. The producer has scheduled with me the shoot on a different location. They're going to use a different room and location and try and match it lighting and set-wise to look like we're in the same place where we started the first scene. And so I have no idea that anything's happening. So he schedules me like, okay, we're going to finish this scene tomorrow at noon. And he schedules this, but he calls in different crew who are not on the movie, some other guys, and he's going to do this without telling the director, which, in case you don't know, that's a big no-no. And how the director finds out about this, of course, naturally he's furious. They're trying to shoot the scenes without him. So he shows up, and just before I get there, they have a huge blowout, gigantic fight. And the director, remember, has worked all night long. He's been up all night, so he's exhausted and probably a little cranky. And bans the producer. They have a big fight, and he bans the producer from the set, from the rest of the movie, actually. And he's lying on the floor, like with a pillow, lying on the floor because he's so tired. The whole time we were there, almost the whole time, he's lying down. He's so tired. He's on the floor, and he's exhausted. And he's directing it. And it's just me and like a lighting guy and a sound guy and the makeup girl and the camera guy and the director. Like 5 people just to film these missing parts of this scene because Jeff Fahey's not there. And we got to film this whole Ed Wood thing. Like, it's literally like, ow! And I'm naked. I'm a zombie. And I'm having a fight scene with Jeff Fahey, but there's nobody there. And so it's me throwing myself back and forth, off camera, on camera, against the wall. Finally, the camera's right here. They have a hand come right to the side of the camera, so you just see a hand with a gun, and then the gun shoots me, and I'm like, ah, and that was the death scene. But Jeff Fahey was not there for my fight scene. The whole so that it was a hysterical moment in filmmaking. So, but that was fun. So, Michael Phelps. Do I know you, Michael Phelps? Were you there? But yeah, it was an adventure, and I felt so bad for the director because after we filmed that, remember, we weren't done shooting, so he worked all night. Then he was lying on the floor directing to film my fight scene, and then he had like an hour or so to get to the set for the next day. All the time he was supposed to be sleeping before the next night of shooting all night, he was directing this. So then the next day he was really tired. Really, really tired. But that is the glamour. That anyhow. Oh, Michael, I think you're just going through my IMDb. I don't think. It's very nice to meet you, Michael, and I'm thrilled. But that's the story behind it. And then, as an end note, the last day of filming, we filmed all night long. The last day of filming, we're in this really bad part of town in like Watts or something. We'd been filming in this funeral home in this like really bad part of town all night. So 12 noon in the morning, 12 noon, like lunchtime, we wrap. I'm ready to go home. I'm in zombie makeup. I've been working all night. It's hot out. It's like now like 95 degrees. I go out to my car. My key won't turn. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I've got like 2 bars of reception, and I had a phone then that had like, at the time I had a phone plan that had like 20 minutes a month. So I had like no, and my car, and I was like, it was a Sunday. I'm trying to call AAA. My car won't turn. Like every guy walking down the street is trying to jump in my car and try to get it to work. The key won't turn. It ended up being a 3-hour ordeal. Well, the first AAA guy showed up, and then he was like, "Oh, you need a new key. Your key, I guess keys get worn out." So another locksmith had to come, to wait for him to come and take apart my side door to take out the lock, to make a new key from my lock. Like he had like a mobile key unit, made a new key like on the side of the road there. And I've been up all night. I'm covered in zombie makeup. It's 95 degrees. I'm exhausted. I think I've only eaten gummy bears all night. And I'm like, ugh. Yeah. That was miserable. Hi, N1QOV. And I was a zombie for real. And yeah, the key wouldn't turn, and like the key, like it would go in and you couldn't turn your key anymore. It was like it wasn't the key for my car anymore all of a sudden. Like I drove there. I don't know if that's ever happened to anyone, but the key just wouldn't turn anymore. And like every guy, like they were going like, trying to, and like wouldn't know. It was like it was a key from another car. There's some behind-the-scenes glamour trivia for you right there. Hi, Jesus. Yeah, and then that ended up costing, AAA covered part of it, but that ended up costing like $100 for the whole car and the mobile key guy, all that. My day's pay went to fixing the key. That was my whole day's pay right there. Thank you, N1QOV. So yeah, there's a behind the scenes. That is the glamour, behind the scenes glamour trivia of making an independent, low budget independent film in Hollywood. Anyhow, it is 5:45, so I am. Wait, that. What do you mean, David Jones? That is the pay. It doesn't get any better. I am just about to sign off. Sam says those things only happen to me. Yeah, that for those of you who don't realize and think that all actors are making tons of money, low budget, the scale rate for an actor, even if you're the lead in the actor, the lead in the movie, the scale rate for a low budget $1,000, no, scale for a low budget independent film is $100 a day. That is scale even if you're the lead in the movie for a low budget independent film. That's like minimum wage. But most of those movies, everybody, it's a flat rate. Everybody's getting paid the same thing because those are movies that are made for $100,000, $50,000. That's their low budget. Yeah. So anyhow, so I am just about to sign off. But I want to thank you guys for coming to see me because you're awesome. Thank you, Angie Jonas. I forget that sometimes I have interesting stories. Let me say goodbye to everybody. Thank you, N1QGov, and thanks for the questions. I will be back tomorrow at 5:15 Los Angeles time on YouTube and Google Hangouts. And if you're not already following me on Twitter, please do. Let me say goodbye to everybody: Allure Star and Shocker and Sturgis Guy and Tesis and House of Dave and Sam and St. Clinton and Eric and Petey and Tim and Ryan and Photo and Philip Lee and Mark Mean and Star Raven and Sam and N1QOV and St. Clinton and Angie Jonas and Fairies Lover and Lucky Girl and Joe Barney and Jim Dandy and Sturgis Guy and Marcel and Azure Yusuf and LaCram and Bill Nouse and Scott Kimmis and Red Stapler. Thank you for checking in. You guys are awesome. And Wing Doggy and Redhead. Kisses for everybody. Let me see. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. I love you. I love you. Bye, John McCain. Bye. And Michael Phelps, thank you for checking in. Nice to meet you. Bye. I love you. Bye. I'll see you tomorrow.